The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
B1, brothers and sisters, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys have not already done so, please make sure you like the broadcast as well too, and share this on your various social media platforms. Thank you everybody for being here already. Jay Click is in the building. B1 to you, brother. Sage is in the building. B1 to you, fam. AK is in the building. B1 to everybody who's in the building already. A little bit behind, but we just got out a very great, very productive, very positive space. So, it took me a little bit of time because there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here. And as we're piling up in the room, I'm going to share some more stories, because there were some more like last minute things that I just saw that I thought of to add as a story. I'm all like, okay, well, that's going to be a very interesting thing to add. This is going to really help with the storyline, pushing the storyline. Okay. So, we got quite a few people in here already. We have our sister Harlem. How you doing, Harlem? It's good to see or hear from you. Our brother Ace Keeper is in the building. Be one of you, Ace Keeper. Sister Tia, FBA Crypto Soldier, Tora, Knockerball, Alfonso. Be one to every single last one of you guys who are in here. Thank you very much for coming. Now, if you guys don't know, there is a merchandise sale going on. The link is in the description. Free shipping all week till Sunday. Sunday is the last day to get free shipping. So enjoy yourself. I mean, not enjoy yourself. Look through the options. We got some pretty great new designs that are out. People really like this design in this cup. Also merchandise, not just shirts and hats. I'm, advertising the merchandise as we speak now. Some people have already given me great positive feedback as well too. There's some designs I'm working on as well. So, FBA Crypto Soldier said he's buying one right now. I appreciate that. I do. Very much so do. Thank you. Whenever you get it, let me send me something on Instagram. I'm gonna give you a shout out if you have Instagram. I don't know. So don't miss that. I'm gonna be announcing that again later on tonight. Now, I like that T-shirt. I like that T-shirt. You got to get one. Oh yeah, this T-shirt. It's got black. The camera's reversed, so I'm sitting up there pointing this. Black empowerment, right, going down, black and empowerment, and then all the words for empowerment have words to it like E and M and all that. So yeah, it's a really great. People love it. People love that design. So thank you. I appreciate everybody doing that. Now the first story I like to get into, it's a little off subject. So that's why I wanted to get into it first, but I feel like it's very important to discuss. Kind of like viewer discretion is advised, because this story kind of is a tad bit sensitive to certain people. You might be upset. You might just be upset by it, but we have to talk about this. Okay. As you can see on your screen here, Judge orders Iowa teen who, and I'm going to substitute these words, deleted her alleged violator to pay his family $150,000 in restitution. Okay, so let's get into it. A girl who was 15 when she deleted a man said violated her multiple times must pay his family $50,000 in restitution, an Iowa judge ruled Tuesday. I believe her name is Pepper Lewis. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Pepper Lewis, who deleted her alleged violator in 2020 received a deferred judgment from Polk County Derek Judge David Porter. You can only imagine. I want you guys to take a wild guess as to the race of this judge. Let's take a wild guess. You want the answer? Let me show you the answer. I gotta move one thing at a time. So let me just show you the answer. I'm sure this comes to no surprise. I'm sure this comes to no surprise at all. But this is. Let me see if they don't have a picture on him. This is the judge right here. You know, just for context, although I'm sure that comes to no surprise at all. But let's continue with the story. Exactly, PC. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure that comes to no surprise, but I would be remiss if I didn't say so. Now, continues. After pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter and willful injury, Porter, which is the judge, ruled Lewis, which is the woman here, the young woman, ruled Lewis would receive 5 years probation, serve 200 hours of community service, and pay $150,000 in restitution, plus more than 400 in civil penalties. 4,000 in civil penalties. The deferred judgment means this may be expunged from Lewis's record. Okay, so as we're going down, Iowa law requires the court to sentence offenders to pay at least $150,000 in restitution if they delete another person. A crowdfunding campaign to cover the restitution has raised $330,000. So that's well over twice as much as she needed to pay in restitution. So shout out to the community for pulling through for her. Shout out to the community for looking out for our sister like that. You know, that's a crazy amount for her to pay. But the community, they stood out. They was all like, no, that's bogus. So they covered it. So that's, you know, shout out to the family. Okay, but let's continue. A crowdfunding campaign to cover the restitution has raised $330,000, more than double what Lewis owes. But Lewis' attorney must determine whether Iowa law would allow that donation money to be used to pay the restitution. They told Des Moines Register. So, see, this is them playing little games. This right here is them playing games. Because you guys remember cases like Kyle Rittenhouse, when these MD people, these melanin deficient people, when they go out there and they commit crimes against black people a lot of times, and they get bail or they got to pay some type of fine and restitution, they get huge $1 million donations and GoFundMe's and stuff. Remember, Kyle Rittenhouse raised over $2 million from his Mayanote community. $2 million. And you didn't see the attorney be all like, well, we have to think about if we're going to allow your crowdfunding and your GoFundMe to be used for this. So what do you expect her to do? Pay it out of her own pocket? You think she has $150,000 to pay out of her own pocket? Why would not the community's money be enough? This is them playing games. This is what they do. This is them cheating because they felt like they had her. And now they feel like they don't. Can you guys see it? Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe you guys can see it that way. Now I'm a little bit smaller. The edge of the screen. But yeah, this is them playing. Yeah, so they did with the George Zimmerman. They do that with everybody who harms a black person their bill can be paid by any and everybody. There's no issue when it comes to where the money is coming from. Now, when it's a black person who has to pay restitution, now it's all of a sudden a problem of where she got the money. Now, all of a sudden, that's a problem. But let's continue. Money collected beyond the court's ordered sum would help Lewis attend college, start her own business, and, quote, explore ways to help other youth victims of S crimes. You know, I think you would say sex crimes. Her former teacher, Leland, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Leland Skippy. That sounds like a foreign, like a European foreigner, wrote at the GoFundMe page. So yes, this money can really put her on a great path. She's going to need therapy and all that. This was very beneficial money for her, okay? And other young girls who've been in situations like that, okay? Now, it goes on to continue and say, Lewis pled guilty in June 2021 to deleting Zachary Brooks, which was her violator. According to the plea arrangement, Lewis said Brooks, 37, violated her multiple times in 2020. She was initially charged with first-degree murder. Lewis said in the plea arrangement that she ran away from home several times and ended up sleeping in the hallway of an apartment complex. One man took her in, but she left when he became abusive. She wrote in a plea agreement. She said she then moved in with another man who created an online dating profile for her and arranged for men to come have sex with her for money. So this other dude that was pretty much pimping her out. Parents, I need our black parents to really pay attention. You know, I know situations might seem tough with the kids sometimes, but you don't ever want your child to have to go through this. I'm not sure why she ran away. I don't know what's going on, but like I hate to hear stuff like this. This is a terrible situation. And it shows me that there were things that led up to this situation. That's why I always say we should work to prevent problems before it becomes out of hand. But let me continue, because I'm not trying to like victim blame, but I just wanted to point that out. Hold on. Where was I? Okay. She lived with the man who told her she was his girlfriend from April 2020 until he was arrested for deleting Brooks. Until she was arrested, I'm sorry, for deleting Brooks, Lewis said. She was introduced to Brooks in May 2020, and he gave her alcohol and marijuana and had sex with her 5 times while she was unconscious over a 3-day period, she said in the plea. She said she learned of what he had done, according to the plea, each time she regained consciousness, and he was still on top of her. On May 31st, the man with whom Lewis lived with confronted her with a knife after she refused his orders to go to Brooks' apartment and have sex with Brooks and engage for marijuana, she said. Eventually, she agreed to go after he cut her neck, she said in the plea. Brooks picked her up and drove her to his apartment, where he told her to go to the bedroom. Okay. This was a whole thing that they were all planning on. This was a whole. These people were completely violating this young sister here. She was forced to drink vodka shots, fell asleep. She woke up in the plea deal. She wrote in the plea deal. At one point in the night, she woke up and Brooks was violating her, she said. Brooks fell asleep and Lewis went to find her clothes. When she came back to the bedroom, she saw him passed out naked, she wrote. Quote, I suddenly realized that Mr. Brooks had violated me, and I'm using violated in quotes, violated me yet again and was overcome with rage. Without thinking, I immediately grabbed a knife from his nightstand and began stabbing him, end quote. Lewis stated in the plea agreement. I further acknowledge that the multiple stab wounds that I inflicted upon Mr. Brooks thereafter immediately resulted in his death. In court on Tuesday, Lewis read from the statement, quote, "My story can change things. My story has changed me," she said. "The events that took place on the horrific day cannot be changed. As much as I wish I could, that day that day a combination of complicated actions took place, resulting in the death of a person as well as a stolen innocence of a child." Okay. "As I grow and evolve as a young woman," this is her again, quote, "as I grow and evolve as a young woman, I feel for the victim's family. I wish that I wish that happened never I wish that happened never did." I believe that might have been a typo. I wish that never happened. I guess I wish that happened never did. That's weird. It continues to say, "And I truly feel that. The healing process is inevitable. I repeat, I wish the events that occurred on June 1st, 2020 never occurred. But to say there is only one victim of the story is absurd." Lewis attorney said that he was pleased with the court's deferring her sentence. Okay, so I guess that means it's not going to be on her record or whatnot. "We are very thrilled by Judge Porter's decision in the case. A deferred judgment will allow Pepper to live a full life," Matt Steele told CNN. So pretty much what they're saying in this situation is that the deferred judgment means that this is not going to be on her like record forever. Like, she's a very young woman, so when she grows up, she starts a business and everything, she's not going to have a murder case on her, you know. A sister Linus Crown is in here. B1 to you, sister. So that's something, but let's continue. Where was I? Okay, here it was. Quote, "Pepper is extremely grateful for all the love, compassion, and support that she has received. Anyone that has met her immediately falls in love with her," end quote. Shirley says, "She is a remarkable young woman who has remarkable courage, and she's amazed at all the love she's received. She's just blown away. We're all frankly blown away," end quote. Explaining his decision to the court community service, Porter, which is the judge, says, "The purpose of that, Miss Lewis, is that you have a story to tell. You should be willing and able to tell that story to other young and vulnerable women in our community. And therefore, you are going to give back by way of community service hours." Let me read that one more time. "And therefore, you are going to give back by way of the community service hours." His statement is making it seem like she did something to harm the community. She deleted somebody who's out here passing women around like prostitutes. What does she need to give back to? He saw, "Oh yeah, you're going to give back in community service hours." Excuse me? Okay. Kelly Marie Meek of Iowa Coalition Against Sexual Assault said that she was concerned about Tuesday's ruling. Quote, "I don't think that justice was served." I agree. "I think that justice would have not seen Pepper Lewis spend any time behind bars," end quote. Meek told CNN. I agree with that. Quote, "This is not the worst outcome that could have happened, but it's far from the best outcome, and it's definitely not justice," end quote. Hey, that statement I fully agree with. Meek also expressed concerns about Lewis' ability to manage the terms of her probation due to the severity of her trauma. 5 years of probation under strict supervision is something that concerns me, because I know that many of the ways that trauma survivors deal with their trauma is not understood very well by folks that haven't experienced trauma, which can sometimes lead to behaviors that gets folks in trouble, she said. That's very true. Meek said that she understood the restitution ruling and the fact that the judge cannot have any discretion. Now, the thing with the restitution, you have to pay money to the family. Now, the situation is, when it comes to that law, if you plead guilty to deleting somebody, then you do have to pay that family restitution, or some people call it blood money. That's just what it is. If you plead guilty. Now, she pled guilty to it. Do I think she should have pled guilty? No, I don't think she should have pled guilty at all. I feel like she is very much so justified for her actions. I feel like that was in self-defense. Even if he was asleep, he's violated her so many times that she took that as an opportunity to, okay, if he wakes up before I have a chance to defend myself, I'm going to be violated. I feel like she should have pled not guilty, and I felt like she should have been able to get away with that. That's my opinion on it. I'm looking at her lawyer some type of way, like, why, with all things considered, why are you taking a plea deal? But not only the lawyer am I looking at some type of way, I'm also looking at that district attorney. Why did the district attorney charge her with first-degree murder, giving all of the factors of the situation? All of the factors, and hearing the story of the situation, you're still saying that I'm going to give her first-degree murder. So I'm looking at the lawyer some type of way, and I'm almost going to give the lawyer a slight leeway, because maybe the lawyers are like, hey, if we don't take this, you're going down for first degree. So to me, the main culprit is definitely that district attorney. The lawyer, I felt like the lawyer could have did a way better job. I felt like the lawyer should have pled not guilty, and the judge too, because even if the judge didn't have any choice about the restitution, the $150,000 in restitution, the whole 5 years probation, and the 5 years probation, and what else was it? The court fines, the $4,000 plus dollars in court fines, and what's that? 200 hours of community service. That is the judge's decision. So that's the judge's decision right there. Okay, we got a $5 super chat from Dark Skin Brother 2. Greatly appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you being here, and thank you very much for the super chat. So let's wrap this up. We're pretty much done. I'm just gonna wrap it up real quick. Okay. Quote: it worked out really poorly in this case, but I don't want the automatic swing the pendulum and say we're just going to get rid of that, she said. Many victims' families fought hard to get the restitution law passed, she said, adding what is needed now is decisions with a quote, a lot of voices at the table to figure out how we get victims of crime the support they need and not unfairly punish people. I agree. Like the restitution thing, that can be a good thing, but that can also be a huge oversight. And then, as you see, when it comes to her restitution, they're not even trying to let her use the crowdfunding money that the community raised for her. They're not even trying to do that. Let me see something. Just about to look this up. Okay. So hopefully that sister is going to be okay. It looks like she's gotten the money she needs, but I don't think that's justice. And if the races were reversed, I'm telling you, if the races were reversed, she would have been an American hero. They would have made a whole mini series on Netflix, something like that, a movie or something. She would have been on Good Morning America. She would have been shaking hands with Joe Biden. She would have been given the key to the city. They would have made a book about her. She'd be at a book signing. Had she not been a black girl, there was no, you cannot tell me that the district attorney would have charged her if she was melanin deficient. If she was MD, you can't tell me that they would have charged her with first degree murder. You can't tell me that. So much so she had to plead to voluntary homicide. We have another super chat from our brother again, dark skinned brother. I appreciate that super chat as well too. So no, did she delete a P file? Probably, most likely. To be honest, the line between being a R word and a P file and I got to be very careful with the words I use. It is so close that if one person does one thing, you can say there's not a huge bridge to cross to the other thing as well too. But actually, he was not registered as a P file, just a R word because of her age. But when it comes to situations like that, I want you guys to understand that is not the first time they violated a little girl at all. That is not the first time whatsoever. That means that this is a history of something that they do. They pick up girls that's probably run away, kicked out, whatever the case is. They use them, they exploit them for their own personal, sick, perverted gains. She is by far not the first one at all. Okay. So I had to get that story out. Thank you guys for being here. Please make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share. And okay. Now, let me get this off. It's an ad. Now let's get to the story of this evening. Okay, we will be talking about the Purge. Dun dun dun.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into.
Now, okay, let me give you some pretext. This is a sheriff, and he's addressing what is known as the Safety Act that will commence January 23. And he's talking about the issues when it comes to the Safety Act. So I'm going to play the whole thing. It's only a minute long. Then we're going to break down some of the things, and we're going to have a good discussion about it. All right?
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners, officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them, and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Oak Park, Cook County, and Illinois.
Okay, so he goes on. Now, this is the picture that's been floating around, as well as the statement that he made. Hold on. The statement that he made, too. Now, we're going to look at this. Illinois not detainable offenses beginning January 1st, 2023. Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, driving under the influence. Okay, aggravated fleeing, which is fleeing from the police. arson, burning buildings and property down, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, threatening a political official. Dun dun dun! The purge. The purge is here. We're all doomed. Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the comments. Okay. Safety Act. These people will be released. Okay. All right. Now, we got people who are like, some people believe it. I'm staying indoors, not moving to Illinois. Now, notice, it's a lot of the mayonnaise who are upset. It's a lot of the MDs who feel some type of way about this. I want you guys to notice that. Okay. First off, I want you guys to understand this country absolutely loves locking black people up. They wouldn't get rid of that if it was up to them in saving their life. They would still lock black people up. They're not planning on getting rid of that anytime soon. Not at all. Not whatsoever. Locking black people up, getting rid of them, yes, absolutely. They love it. They would never get rid of that, ever. Okay? Ever, ever, ever. So, what is this Safety Act? Oh no. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. So just doing a little research on what this Safety Act could be. Before we get into that real quick, we have people saying the Safety Act is the Purge. And if you guys know about the Purge movie, the Purge, somebody sent a another super chat. Got a super chat. FBA Honey Badger. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the super chat, brother or sister, whichever one. Appreciate it, fam, greatly. Now, here's the thing. Exactly. He says, facts, the truth spoken, my warrior brother, Afro Elite. They would rather burn in hell before they do right by FBA. That's a fact. Exactly. I want you guys, every law, every policy, I want you guys to understand what is in the benefit of it for them. Where do they benefit in this situation? Now, we've already broken down cash bail. I've already done a broadcast on that. I did like a little series. Actually, I'm going to put that together. I've already done a little series on that. So, man, we heavy with the super chats today. Another super chat by Jade Sukra. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. A $10 super chat. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. Okay. So you guys know the Purge movie is, if you guys haven't seen it, I would do the whole theme like, ooh, in 24 hours, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. But in the Purge movie, what happens is that one day out of the year, all crime is legal. All crime, but not all. If you actually watch the movies, not all crime, but just pretty much killing people is legal, because that's really what the main thing is. And in the movie, it's all like everybody's just waiting for that one time a year to. I said, I'm talking about the movie when I say the K word. Delete people. That's what I meant. So, yeah. So they're saying these I want you. Let's take another look at it. Let's take another look at what they're saying are non-detainable offenses before we go into it. Because this is what they're saying. Oh my God, what are the niggers? They're gonna attack us. There's nothing we can do. Notice anytime you see a police officer on a podium complaining, I want you to understand that that's coming from that Blue Lives Matter point of view. That's coming from, oh my God, see, cops, we have it so hard. The world is so tough on police. We just can't catch a break. Oh my goodness. Now the criminals, the black thugs. They're going to be going wild. They're going to be taking your women, and they're going to be having mixed babies, and they're going to be breaking into your stores, your hard-earned stores, and they're going to be looting to buy Hennessy and marijuana and fried chicken. Oh my goodness, they're going to be making fried chicken in your house. They're going to be sitting on your couch smoking Newport 100s. What are you going to do? And we can't even get rid of them anymore. They're going to be, there's nothing that we can do. They're going to be drinking. You know, you can't pull them over for drinking Hennessy. They just heavy on the stereotypes. They're going to be drinking Hennessy. They're going to be listening to that thug music, that Lil Wayne, that Tupac, those thuggish musics and everything. There's nothing that we can do. We're doomed, innocent victims of society. And they don't say the W word, but they already know who they're talking. We're going to be doomed. The big scary black people are coming. Okay, so this is what they say. First off, I want y'all to know, WFCN is not a reliable source of information. That is not a reliable site. That's not a reliable source. All right. This is fear mongering. Okay. Another super chat from Dark Skin Brother 2. I appreciate that. This brother feels very generous tonight. I appreciate you. Much so. Yeah, not the Newports. Not the Newports. Yep. They more the fried chicken stereotype. Yeah, they eat more. I mean, come on. Let's not act like they don't be tearing up some fried chicken just because they don't season it. Don't mean that, you know, the stereotype should be on us. You're sitting up there trying to fearmonger. Now let's get into this article that pretty much breaks down, and then there's a couple other things that I wanted to mention as well tonight too. So let me get that. Okay. There is no purge law in Illinois. There are the facts about ending cash bail. Okay. Now, it goes on to say, hold on. You guys can see it, right? Yeah, okay, you guys can see it. Viral video of infographics circulated on social media misrepresented the new Illinois law that will eliminate cash bail. Legal experts and public policy advocates say. The Pretrial Fairness Act will come into law January 1st, and it's part of a long-running campaign to address issues with cash bail, okay, which advocates say lead people who have not been convicted or charged to remain in jail because they cannot afford bail. And a judge assigned them. Okay, that happens to a lot of black people, and we've already discussed that in a previous broadcast. Where a lot of times, and if you guys didn't know, let me get this off the screen for a second. If you guys didn't know, bail is not refundable, so they can charge you for anything. Them charging you does not mean that you're guilty. Them arresting you does not mean that you're guilty. So they can charge you, and then they say, okay, well, your bail is $10,000. Now, even if you only pay 10% of that, even if you only pay $1,000, and then they find out when you go to trial, oh, you didn't do it. Okay, you're innocent. You don't get that bail back. So that's just $1,000 that they just came up off of you, and they do it time and time and time again. Where even if you don't go to prison, even if you're proven innocent, you still don't get your bail money back. They don't have to refund that at all, period. So whether you can afford bail or not afford bail, they coming up off of you. But let's continue. Okay. The law is a part of the Safety Act, which Governor J.B. Pritzker signed 2021, has already been partly implemented throughout the state. Here is the key. The law does not mean judges cannot keep people in jail. Let me repeat that. The law does not mean judges cannot keep people in jail. And this means that it's up to the judge to determine whether the person gets bail or not. That is the key point. Now, we will keep reading that, but that's the key point. Bail is not a constitutional right. You do not have a constitutional right to bail at all. Your attorney argues to the judge. They plead for a situation where you can get bail, and then the judge decides, given the factors of the situation, whether you can get bail or not. The judge in these situations, if there's not going to be cash bail, the judge can easily just say, no, you don't get bail. There's no bail. And this gives the judge the discretion to nitpick who the judge gives bail to. And the thing is that, who do you guys honestly think the judge is going to keep in jail and the judge is going to let go? Who do you guys think that? Who do you think that this is really going to apply to? I want to know what you guys think. It's a Muffin says, listen, brother, they had bail reform in New Jersey. What that actually means is that the courts now decide who is released and who isn't on their criminal history or the criminal. Yes, exactly. Tia said the Mayo Mafia. Exactly. This is going, all this Safety Act is going to do, and it's up there making it seem like, because so many poor people cannot afford bail. I mean, it's just so unfair. And that part is unfair. However, when you leave it up to the judge, and a lot of times who is a SWS, I don't even have to explain what that means. A lot of times when that's the case, then the judge is going to say, oh, well, you don't get out of here, you black Negro. You stay in jail, you. That's all that's going to mean. You're not going to see a whole bunch of free, innocent black people. And then it was saying you can't even detain them. No, it doesn't say anything about cops can't detain you. Cops can still detain you. Cops can still arrest you. It's just that, cash bail it will be eliminated. And then it will be handpicked. Who gets bail is now going to be handpicked, which it always was, really. But now the judge is definitely going to have no incentive to give people bail, because I think, like, I forget the term, but like the bail center, the people who get the bail money, they're not going to get any money if you say they get bail and there's no cash bail. So it's like, okay, then, well, the judge has no incentive to even give you bail. So there's a lot of black people who are probably going to receive less bail and going to be in jail longer because of this. And they know that. They know that. Now, let's continue. Okay. The law eliminates cash bail as a standard, but the judge can still detain someone depending on the criminal's charges. Or if they think the person, not know, you don't have to have any evidence to prove, but think a person poses a danger to the community or may flee. Okay. That's their loophole to get out of letting black people go. So a post earlier this month from WFNC News, a small conservative outlet in Southern Illinois, according to WGN, wrongly claimed that the law will create non-detainable offenses, which as aggravated battery or driving under the influence, arson, second-degree murder, and kidnapping. Citing the incorrect information, others posted incorrect information on TikTok and other social media. Excuse me, hold on. Okay, sorry. Generating thousands of views and comments. Some labeled the act of the Purge law, quote, the Purge law, equating it to the 2013 horror film in which all crime, including murder, are legal for a 12-hour period. In some of the videos, users incorrectly argue people suspected of crimes will be released from jail in mass once the law goes into effect. Okay, Republican Gerber national candidate Darren Bailey. This dude is a SWS, so you guys know he's running for governor in Illinois. who has repeatedly called Illinois a hellhole, which is interesting because he's actually moved into Chicago. I mean, he's actually moved into Chicago recently, very recently, because he says he wants to live among the people so he can have a better understanding. But anyway, that's a side note. Seized on the issue, saying that a West Loop news conference that Illinois is a living purge. Bailey in his apartment in John Hancock Center. Oh, okay. So this is, I guess, after he moved in. John Hancock Center. Okay. Legal experts involved with the writing and implementation of the law said that the false claims going viral are a scare tactic. Quote, there is no automatic exhaustion of court's order through legislative actions, said Sherilyn Grace, the senior policy advisor with the Cook County Public Defender Office. Quote, no one who wrote the law has ever suggested that on January 1st, lawful court orders evaporate and jail doors just open. That will, what will happen, and what will always happen, is the courts will take steps to address previous orders if they have determined that the law has changed. Okay. Grace said the law would trigger rigorous detentions hearings from people that involve a judge deciding whether the defendant should be detained for trial. Before we continue, shout out to the super chat from Jay the Informant, that $2 super chat. Greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. Be heavy with the super chats today, ladies and gentlemen. I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys' support. I really do. Please make sure you leave a like on the video as well too. We're right here. Legal experts also debunked the misleading infograph of speech often referenced in the clips of the suburban Orland Park mayor. Oh, that's the Orland Park mayor. It's not the sheriff. Orland Park mayor that lists aggravated battery, kidnapping, and arson among a number of non-detainable offenses. That's the person we saw, the mayor noti we saw in the video before. While it was true that the law includes a list of offenses under which judges can no longer detain a person pre-trial because they pose a safety threat, people changed with the offenses the video labeled as non-detainable. That's a difference. That's a big difference, so y'all know. As well as any class 3 felony and above can be held for other reasons, including because they are a flight risk, Grace said. A, quote, flight risk is broadly defined as someone who is planning to evade prosecution by concealment, Grace said. She also said that almost any offense committed with a gun will likely have a separate gun possession charge, which is detainable. So that pretty much, and especially in Chicago, anything you do with a gun, even if you don't use a gun in the act, that's going to be a felony, especially if the gun is illegal. We got our brother Greg Marcel Dixon in here. Greg, how you doing, bro? I mean, Marcel. I said Greg. Marcel, how you doing, bro? So, yeah, everybody's been talking about this situation with the purge, the Illinois purge. Dun dun dun. Where were we? Okay, right here, y'all. There are several pathways to when somebody who is accused of a charge and presumed innocent, they can be detained, released, and end up in jail awaiting trial, Grace said. These videos and graphics are taking one path and they're acting like it's the only path. Alex Van Burt, a Northwest law professor and director of MacArthur Justice Center, said kidnapping, a charge many of the videos and infograph touched on, is a rare charge, which is true. Much more common charge is aggravated kidnapping, or kidnapping with the use of or threat of a weapon remains a detainable offense, she said. And before we continue, shout out to our sister D Tubman for her super chat. We heavy with the super chats today, and shout out to D Tubman. I hope you're feeling better, Sister D. Everybody, y'all, go show our sister D some love. You know, she's recovering, she's doing well. She's a very powerful sister, so we respect and admire that from her. So continuing. So pretty much, I don't necessarily have to read the whole thing because it kind of goes down. It kind of runs long. So I'm going to read like the last paragraph right here. Grace and Van Burt said, the purpose of the law is to ensure access to money no longer determines whether a person is jailed while awaiting trial. They pointed to students by Loyola University that showed similar laws in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere that did not lead to any measurable effect of violent crime, as well as a study from the JFA Institute that showed bond reforms lead to decrease in people rearrested on charges of violent offenses. They said only 3% of people released in the study period had a new allegation of criminal violence. So pretty much the thing that they're saying, and I'm gonna get that off because there's something else I wanted to talk about. Pretty much there is no purge going on, at least not for us. And see, that's the thing. You have to think, well, if that's the case, can't the judge just deny bail just entirely? And it's up to the judge's discretion to who the judge gives bail to. So, I mean, the judge still has that ability. But why do you think they're giving this judge the ability? They're giving this judge the ability because this judge is going to make it easier for the low-level mayorities, the Kyle Rittenhouse, to get away with doing anything. They won't even have to pay bail anymore. Before we get continue, shout out to another super chat from Cyber Divine. FBA B1 reparations. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Cyberdyne, not Divine. Cyberdyne. Absolutely. Thank you very much for your super chat. Thank everybody for their super chat so far. And thank you guys for the support. I greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate that. Let me get to some other things. Since we're talking about lawlessness, I think we should have a full conversation about it. If we're going to talk about lawlessness, let's talk about lawlessness. Okay? So let's look at this. Activist says Chicago police covered up incident where a woman being ran over by squad car. Okay, hold on. I got to go to the actual website. That's not the website. Okay. Hold on. I shared the wrong source. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? Ran over by a squad car, but let's look into it. Activist says Chicago police covered up incident with woman being ran over by squad car. If these people are talking about, oh my God, look at what the black people are going to do. Look at what the black people are going to do. Now, I would play this clip, but copyright. Well, I guess it's fair. I'm going to just play like a little second of it.
Connect with Flex.
Nope. Okay. See, now they doing all of this. Okay. I'm gonna just read it. Let me see. No, it's coming up. Okay, here we go.
Remember the awful video of a woman being run over by a Chicago police SUV. This happened in 2019. Now, what activist believes the Chicago Police Department is hiding something. Today, activist William Calloway spoke out about a possible cover-up after a legal court battle. Calloway was able to get the video showing Martina Stanley being run over, but his lawyers were unsuccessful at getting emails and messages regarding the incident. That's some of the video right there. And it was initially denied. He was at least public records. Calloway is now seeking $720,000 in civil penalties and attorney's fees.
Chicago Police Department has not responded to any of our discovery requests. They're hiding something. And it's important that the city of Chicago know. I don't know I can't speculate, but if they're willing to risk the department losing $720,000+, I will probably consider on the default judgment. I could probably sort of insinuate it's something sensitive in those emails they don't want to be released to the public.
Now, Stanley did die earlier this year. The cause and manner of death is still pending right now. The mayor's office and Chicago Police Department, they've declined to comment on this pending litigation.
Since they want to talk about lawlessness, that's not it. If you guys thought that was it, you guys thought that was the last story, that's not it. If we want to talk about gangs and violence and people going on unpunished, let's talk about the real people in Chicago who get to do whatever they want to and they don't have to be punished for it. Let's really talk about it. If we're going to talk about it, let's have a serious conversation about what's really going on. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Okay. Chicago police officer suspended 100 days for kicking handcuffs suspect in head, failing to properly activate body cam. Failing to properly activate, you mean turned off. That's what that means. Or you moved it around so the body cam wouldn't catch you doing what you wanted to do, which is what Chicago police officers do often, very often. Okay. There's no video to this one, so I'm just going to read it. A Chicago police officer is facing a 100-day suspension, not being fired or fined or nothing, just a 100-day suspension for kicking. I wonder if it's a paid suspension too. It doesn't say it's not paid. It doesn't say that. But a 100-day suspension for kicking a handcuffed suspect during an arrest 4 years ago. Actions he later blamed on the high stress nature of the incident. Quote. All right. The high stress nature of the incident. Okay. A review by a civilian office of police accountability found that officer, you guys know I'm not great with pronouncing names, but I'm gonna try. Jahar Runcomer, and that sounds like a foreigner. Speaking of foreigners and immigrants, we're going to get into that a little bit later as well tonight too. Stomped, and kicked the suspect without justification and failed. I'm putting the quotes there. Failed to properly adjust his body cam during the confrontation. The police department responded that the recommended suspension will be imposed. Rakumer, that kind of sounds like an Arab name to me. That sounds like an Arabic last name, like a Pakistani last name or something. And another officer were on patrol in an unmarked car on September 10th, 2018, when they noticed a scooter traveling without a visible registration and pulled it over. According to the summary officer report, COPA's investigation, after temporarily losing the scooter, the officer spotted the driver going the wrong way on North Lauder Street. The officer tried to stop him again, but he collided with garbage cans in the alley and ran off, the report said. Okay. While chasing the suspect, Ram Kumar said he noticed him reaching it. Here he goes. Said he noticed him reaching for his waistband and fearing he was reaching for a gun. Lord, here he goes. Fearing he was reaching for a gun, discharged his taser. Please. This man, it's almost as if they train you to say the same thing in the academy. It's like the academy trains you to say that. Hey, if you beat one of them up, just say that as they were running away from you, they were reaching in their waistband for a gun, and you feared that, and you thought that when they got their gun, they were going to do some type of ninja matrix backflip, and they were going to start firing at you. That's the story that you tell. Okay, it's the same thing over and over. I swear it's a script. Reaching for his gun, discharged his taser. The suspect continued reaching for his waistband. Rakumer partner yelled, "Quote gun!" According to COPA, Rakumer said he then used his taser a second time after the suspect was placed in after. No, sorry, there's a period there. He used his taser a second time. Period. After the suspect was placed in handcuffs, Rakumer began kicking and stomping him in the head, according to COPA. Okay. Now he's already in handcuffs. Now it doesn't say here, but kind of guess the race of the suspect. What do you guys think the race of the suspect might be? Because I have a suspicion. But anyway, after the acknowledged actions to the COPA investigators, and said that and said they occurred because, quote, occurred because of the high stress nature of the incident. Okay, so when you're in high stress, you're out there kicking people in the head. Stop! You can kill somebody. Oh, I said the K word again. You can delete somebody like that. Do you know that you can actually end somebody's life like that? You stomping them in the head when they're in handcuffs and their head smashing on the concrete. You can end somebody's life that way. Rakumer also admitted not to mention the incident in his tactical response report. Quote, not quote, failing to timely activate his body cam and deactivating his body cam early. Now let me ask you, deactivating his body cam early, if this is a high stress situation, don't you think if you were justified, wouldn't you want to keep your body cam on? So you mean to tell me there's no body cam footage of this person actually, quote, reaching for a gun like you said you saw him do, so you just disarmed your taser? It sounds to me as if you planned on tasing this person and you're going to use the reaching for a gun excuse, so you decided to turn your body cam off. This seems like that makes a lot more sense to me. Okay. COPA found that while Rakumer was justified in using his taser, he wasn't justified in kicking the handcuffed suspect. Quote, direct mechanic techniques like kicking are permitted only when, quote, a suspect who is using or threatening to use a force against another person or himself is likely to cause physical injury, the report stated. Officer Rakumer was required to de-escalate any force, COPA wrote. However, Officer Rakumer failed to properly de-escalate his use of force. COPA recommended a 2-day suspension for Rakumer's partner, noting the body cam footage showed him quote, in uniform and holding a cigarette in his mouth while he was in official contact with the public. I mean, these officers aren't professional at all. Out here just smoking cigarettes, kicking people in the head. These are real life thugs. These are people who literally get away with running people over, tasing people unnecessarily, putting them in handcuffs, stomping them in the head. They're smoking while in uniform on the job, and they're out here talking about the purge. It looks like Chicago Police Department is already the purge. The agency cited him for being late in activating his camera and shutting it off early. The department said it would allow that recommendation as well. Y'all talking about the purge. It seems like we have enough issues going on. Exactly. Chicago police, they're the real criminals. They're the real criminals. They're the blue line gang. They're the blue gangs out here. They get to get away with everything they want to. You know, you at least with the criminals that are in black society, when they get caught, they get caught. They don't get caught and then they get on a 10-day, 100-day, whatever suspension. You're not even fined or got a ticket or even fired. You're just suspended. You could have seriously caused that person brain problems. Do you guys have any idea how sensitive it is? How little it takes for you to stomp somebody in the head on the street? So it's just straight concrete. You're just stomping somebody's head into the concrete. Do you know it does not take that much at all to cause that person permanent damage by doing that? And you turned your body cam footage off, so you knew that's what you were trying to do. You knew that. But, you know, as the blue gang of Chicago runs out rampant out here, what are our elected officials going to do about it? Sorry, this water is just so cold because this cup is so amazing. This is an amazing cup. Great cup. You guys should get it. My goodness. So refreshing. Shameless plug. But check this out. Right? Check this out. Well, the gang of Chicago, they run around doing whatever they want to. This is what the elected officials are worried about. Pritzker, which is the governor, Pritzker declares state of emergency to fast-track housing, medical care, and more for Texas immigrants, illegal immigrants, bus to Chicago. Now it goes on to say about 500, which is more, actually it's more, 500 migrants, now they're calling them migrants. 500 migrants have arrived in Chicago since end of August, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott shows no sign of stopping, quote, his political stunt. What political stunt? Okay, here it is. Governor J.B. Pritzker issued a state of disaster. Excuse me. Please don't tell me I got the hiccups. Issued a state of disaster for Illinois so he can be free. So he can free up resources to help the migrant crisis as Texas continues to send busloads of refugees to Chicago. So out of all of the poor foundationals in Chicago that are suffering right now, that need resources on the south side and on the west side, out of all of the homeless black people living in tents under bridges in Chicago, you decide it's a state of emergency because migrants who shouldn't even be in the country get bused to Chicago. So you're clearing the board. You're saying that these people are a priority over the citizens that are already suffering, over the high unemployment rate, over the schools that are being closed down. This is where the resources in Chicago need to be going to. Okay. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has sent hundreds of migrants from Texas to Chicago as part of what he calls a protest of federal immigration policies. But local leaders have said Abbott's administration refuses to talk to them about when migrants will arrive or what their needs are. Man, according making it difficult to prepare for them. Hey, ain't nothing to prepare for. All you need to do is send them back their own way. You need to put a gate around Chicago saying it's closed right now. Any bus, you need to scan all of the buses. Every bus, be all like, hey, I need to see your ID, I need to see your Visa card or something like that. There ain't nothing to prepare for. You just need to prepare them a map to go someplace else. That's all you need to be worried about preparing them for. Okay, continuing to say the emergency disaster proclamation will allow state and local agencies to move quickly, providing transportation, emergency shelter, and housing, food, health screenings, medical assessments, and other service to help the asylum seekers, the governor said. So emergency shelter. So the homeless FBA sleeping under a bridge, just forget them. They're actual citizens of America and live in Illinois, but you making the emergency shelters and housing for illegal aliens coming over here in a busload. Food, as many hungry black people who could use food, health screenings, medical assessments, all of these things that can be provided to actual citizens who really need them. You're going to give them to people who do not even need to be in this country whatsoever. Okay. Now, it goes on to say the state also activated about 75 Illinois National Guardsmen to help. Now, remember, it was like not the last broadcast, but the broadcast before last, I said that Lori Lightfoot has got a website asking Chicagoans to donate to help these illegal aliens come over here and take some more resources. So not only they giving the state and government resources, they asking the common citizens for resources as well too. It goes on to say, let me just start over. The state also activated about 75 Illinois National Guardsmen to help. They are logistics professionals who will be able to receive government employees who have been working around the clock, Proctor said. Quote, the state of Illinois is doing everything in its power to support local jurisdiction to help ensure that the right tools and support are in place as we move forward with this humanitarian response, end quote, Pritzker said. Quote, let me be clear. While other states may be threatening these vulnerable families as pawns, here in Illinois, we are treating them as people. Man, y'all need to treat them as intruders. You're not treating them as, quote, people. You're treating them as priority. You're treating them as wow, what is that one quote? Not certified citizens. You're treating them as certified citizens. You're treating them like a protected class, not people. Not people. You're treating them like they're a protected class. Continues, says Prosker and other prominent law officials have repeatedly shamed Abbott's move to bus migrants to Democratic-led cities such as Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., saying he's sowing chaos, quote, sowing chaos, and treating the refugees inhumanely. Man, inhumanely, in all of these cities right here, you have a whole bunch of homeless black people sleeping on the streets, using newspaper as blankets. Okay, they got to eat out of garbage cans, and you talking about treating migrants inhumanely. These people don't give any resources to the poorest districts. You got police out here beating people up, tasing people, deleting people left and right, running people over, and you talking about how Greg Abbott is treating refugees inhumanely by putting them on a bus to tell them to go? Man, Mayor Lori Lightfoot has also said Chicago will need help from county and state federal leaders to excuse me, hold on. I don't know why I'm so thirsty. Excuse me. Let me just start over. Sorry about that. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has said Chicago will need help from country, state, and federal leaders to adequately respond to the needs of the migrants. Okay. About 500 migrants from Central and South America, Mexico, Central and South America is Mexico, Central and South America have arrived via bus to Chicago's Union Station since the end of August. Officials said at the news conference Wednesday. The latest bus arrived Tuesday night. Pritzker and Lightfoot have said Abbott's administration has been, quote, non-responsive, end quote. Let me be the governor of someplace. To amends at to attempts at coordination and limited information. Officials in Chicago relief is through community organizers on ground. Quote, the governor of Texas is forcing on New York and DC and Chicago and particularly other places a needless last minute and complex process. End quote. Okay. Pritzker said, It is heartless display of politics over people. This is about politics for him without regard to the fear and anguish and the challenge that it poses to these refugees. You mean these immigrants who are too lazy to build their country, and they're coming over here and they're getting free resources, and then they're going to come and point their finger and wag their finger at us, talking about, you see, we work so hard, and see, the power to the brown people, and we work so hard for what we do. You don't need to stop being lazy. La raza, la raza. We left Mexico because we work so hard. We are hardworking people. Okay, anyway. Yeah, we're pretty much done. Almost done. Leaders said they've sometimes been given only hours to find suitable housing for migrants. The suitable housing is in Mexico. Suitable housing for migrants. Recently, groups of migrants have been temporarily housed in hotels. They sleep in hotels in neighborhood suburbs, which some of the mayors have criticized, saying cities and state leaders are not giving them advance notice. They sleeping in hotels. They up there, they ordering room service. They watching cable. They in hot tubs. They sleeping. They get bust over here sleeping in hotels. You got homeless people sleeping under the bridge, looking up at the hotels that these illegal aliens are sleeping in. Our brother Torian Rand is in there. B1 to you. Yeah, he said hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. I'm saying they getting complimentary breakfast. They waking up being all like they making waffles, and you know how some hotels have complimentary breakfast and stuff. That's what they're doing. Getting complimentary breakfast. You got homeless veterans out here on the street, and you giving people who can barely speak a lick of English, they coming over here, they getting eggs and waffles for breakfast after sleeping in the hotel. Then later on, if it's hot enough, they dipping in the pool. You're not gonna let them come stay with you. Yeah, hey, not if I can help it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Not if I can help it. Not at all. Exactly. Living a life. What about our black brothers and sisters out here who are struggling, who have to work hard? These are they tell us that these are the hardworking people, and they work hard for everything that they get, but we actually have to work hard. There's nowhere in the world we can go where you're a homeless person. You get to be in a hotel. You getting, we got to get you medical stuff. We got to get you school, and we got to get you this, and we got to get you this and this. Man, what? Dude, please. We got to get a perfect credit score just to get a job in an apartment. And a lot of times we get charged higher mortgage rates despite having adequate jobs, adequate credit rate and everything. We get paid, charged higher mortgage rates, and they coming over here, they getting hotels and motels, and man, they flying on first class trips to these places. Oh, why don't you get off the bus? Why don't you hop on the limousine to your hotel, sir? But before we do that, we got to stop off at the mall, get you some new clothes, right? I mean, you can't be just walking around in there. We got to get you some new clothes, take you to the mall, take you to the movies, have a good time, take you out to dinner. There's a steakhouse around the street. Okay. It says, but those, right here. Okay. Was I right here? Oh, no, I was right here at the end. Lightfoot said, every level of government is working together to act quickly and humanely to ensure the migrants arriving have the care they need. But it's getting increasingly difficult as lack of communication from Abbott's administration continues, and resources in the city are being drained due to his manufactured crisis. He's not telling them to come over here. They're the manufactured crisis. Man, if I was Abbott, and I'm not saying I'm bigging up Abbott, but if I was Abbott, I wouldn't say nothing either. Y'all taking them, I'm sending them. What I need to talk to y'all for? I just want them out of here. Quote, this is, again, an orchestrated plan to create, I guess that's typo, to create chaos in democratic controlled cities. It wouldn't be a plan if y'all would send them back. If y'all would send them away, there would be no chaos. This also, let me save that for when I'm done. Make no mistake about it, Lightfoot said. It's unacceptable. It shouldn't be like this, but it speaks volumes about who Governor Abbott is. It also speaks volume about who Lori Lightfoot is and who Governor Pritzker is. Also, too, it speaks volumes about the abundance of resources Chicago has. It speaks volumes about that. When I talk about issues that we have going on in Chicago, I'm constantly saying that Chicago got a lot of money. This state has a lot of money. It's just that they disproportionately maldistribute the money to the non-black parts of Chicago, to the parts where black people aren't living. They're maldistributing resources so black people don't get those resources. That's why Chicago is so bad, is because of its social economic crisis that's going on. That's the real crisis, not this migrant crisis, whatever they're saying. The real crisis is the social economic deprivation that our foundational black American brothers and sisters are going through in Chicago. That is the real and only crisis, really. No, I'm not saying the only crisis, because you still got that blue Chicago PD gang going around violating, doing whatever they want to. That's another crisis as well, too. That's another crisis. Making it seem like they're heartless. What has she done for black people? What has she done for black people? Why we should care? Why should we care at all for them coming over here? Man, damn that. To hell with that. To hell with that. You send them someplace else. Send them someplace else. This goes to show if they wanted to, this also goes to show if they wanted to do something, they would be able to do it. They can do stuff when they really want to. The whole, hey, my hands is tied, and they always get like that when they get elected. I'm trying. You guys just don't understand how difficult politics can be. It's just so complicated. It's meetings and legislations. I can't just make something happen. I can't do anything for a specific group of people. Remember, that's what they were saying. Well, it's got to be for everybody. I got to get reelected now. Like, all of these excuses that they give to us when we say, hey, what have you guys done? It's always some excuse. Mind you, too, Lori Lightfoot hides a lot of the police misconduct that they do. The running people over. She's seen that video. She's seen a whole lot of videos that she's hiding that we know about and that we don't know about, too. But the maldistribution of resources, she knows about that. And, oh, my God, it's just nothing they can do. And not just Illinois, not just in Chicago, but in Illinois in general. Governor Pritzker, he's going out of his way. There are all of these poor people, homeless people, okay, all of the money, the resources that you can be giving to schools, to jobs, to health clinics, all of the food that you can be giving away to the needy people who really need these things. You're giving it away to 500 plus people, 500 within the course of like a month. That's a huge amount of immigration to one city. That's not even the state of Illinois. That's just the city of Chicago. 500 plus people that y'all force. The shelters are so filled up. You guys are putting them in hotels. Exactly. Let me see. The officials cannot even agree, but expect us to expect this outrage. Yeah, exactly. Now, there's no outrage going on this side. None whatsoever. Torian says, Kamala said she wouldn't do anything specifically for black people. Yes, she did. Well, she got black people dropped off of on her doorstep that would be willing to do something for whether she wants to or not. Yeah, the real talk, absolutely. Sister J said Kamala is a joke. Yes, she is. She is. Yes, Andy will have to pay back, fam. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It says these illegals are draining the welfare system and the Medicare system way more than coming monthly. Maybe more are coming monthly. Exactly. I want you guys to think these are only the 500 that we know about. It's more coming on a regular basis. More coming on a regular basis. This also goes, when I say the thing, this also goes with gentrification as well too. Because when they come, they're going to team up with the Hispanics in Chicago. The Hispanics in Chicago are against the blacks in Chicago. They're going to be trying to push black people out of Chicago. And I've been saying that. Y'all, huge influx of immigrants coming over here. This is what they're doing to them, while they tell us that there's nothing that they can specifically do for us, or they're telling us they won't do anything specific for us. So when people talk about Chicago's going through a purge, Chicago got a purge going on, I say Chicago got a bigger immigrant problem going on. That's the problem we need to be worried about, and we needed to be worried about that months ago. It says, remember when them Greens, Kamala said she picked up from SC. What did she say she picked that up from? SC. What does SC mean? I forgot. I'm having like a brain fart right now. Maybe she can give those to the people on her lawn. I know that bus ride made them hungry. Oh yeah, all of the soul food that she was eating to get black people's vote, she should probably give that nasty, dry looking soul food. She should probably give that to them. They're South Carolina. I don't know why I wouldn't think of that. South Carolina. Oh, what's wrong with me? Yeah, she should think of that. All of that stuff. Why don't they help? Why don't they help? Help them. We got black people going through serious issues right now, and you have our elected officials talking about what we need to focus on is making sure that these illegal aliens who are not even supposed to be in the country, let alone the state, let alone the city, become more comfortable. I'm working on an everyday basis, and you got them sitting up there living better than me. I don't have a button I can press to get room service in my house. They sitting up there calling room service. They don't gotta pay nothing. I want you to think about that. When they do get up on their feed and whatever the case is, they don't have to pay that back. The water, the electricity, the food, the medical examination, all of these things, they won't have to pay that back. The city is paying that for them. They're paying that for them. You and I, we have to work every day. We have to get up. We have to go someplace. We have to put in work every single day. Otherwise, the bills won't get paid. Nobody is helping us pay anything. These are the people. We are the citizens that the government is supposed to be looking out for, but the government is looking out for people outside of its citizenship. So these are issues that we got to take very serious. Next election comes, ain't no, we got to vote for the lesser of two evils. As you guys know, I am working very diligently to get Lori Lightfoot up out of office. She needs to go. She needs to go. As of right now, between Greg Abbott and not Greg Abbott, Darren Bailey, I believe his name is, and JB Pritzker, they both bad. They're both bad, but I don't know too much about Darren Bailey yet, so I'm still looking into it. But hey, at this point, I don't think Darren. I got to see his immigration like status or whatever. I don't think Darren Bailey is going to be so pro immigration though, so that's a good thing. I can at least say that. But before we get out of here, I want to show you guys the website because we have a lot of people in here. We have a whole bunch of people. Please make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share. I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's giving super chats. I appreciate everybody who's watched, everybody who shared, everybody who's going to watch this on the playback as well too. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, thank you. Now, looking at this, you got the website, and I said I'm going to give credit to the people who came up with the designs. A sister did this design completely for free. This design is completely for free. She did. Okay. So, and that's the design I have on the cup. I really like what this design is. Very unique. It's very cool. It stands out. I like it. I love it, actually. Okay. You have the Dr. Francis Cress Welsing quote. I won't rest until Black children are taught to love themselves as themselves. A quote by our ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Then you have the Afro Elite symbol. I just be throwing any names there. I got to come up with like names and stuff. But this is the original design of that, which people love them both. People really like them both. But this is that, and then I decided to, put like a little icon on it. I was looking like at the Black Panther Party thing, and I was all like, that looks cool. Let me like put a little circle around it. So I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. This one, I paid a sister for. She did like the Black family. Let me zoom into that one a little bit. So she did this whole design. I'm gonna zoom in. So you got the parents there, and then you have the children, and it's like pro-Black family at the end. So that's a nice design. If you guys got like a family reunion or something like that going on, it would be really cool if you guys got that, and then maybe had your last name on the back of it. Got your last name put on the back. That would be a pretty sweet design right there going on, promoting the Black family as always. Going back. We have the Afro Elite Sisters. That's just a remake of this one. I had a sister hit me up, and she was like, "Oh, if there's anything I can remake," I said, a lot of women like this one, so see if you can remake it." And then she did that one too. So those are cool. Another sister, because I did this one, I said you can remake this one. These are my designs. These are my original designs right there. I'm just throwing stuff together. I'm like, a lot of women like the Afro Elite with the Black woman design. So can you remix that one? And then she did it, and she got this one. A lot of women like this one. A lot of women think that this one is really, really good. So, that's one a lot of sisters like. You have the logo. I got both. I don't know why this is pink. I keep having to change it. Like, anyway, but you got the logo going on right there. That's one of the logos. If you guys notice, I used both of them. Then this is the shirt I'm wearing right now, actually. The Black Empowerment shirt right there. That's the shirt I'm wearing at the moment. And then the Black Empowerment hat. I felt like this design goes pretty good on hats because it can be small, so it can spread across the hat. I wanted something mainly for like the hats and stuff, so I'm like, okay, I'll put that there mainly for like the hats and pillows and whatnot. Then you have the Dr. King one, the Malcolm X one. You guys have seen me wear that. The Black First one's design. Credit to our brother Jason Black for coining the term Black First. And you have Fred Hampton as well too. And I'm working on some other designs as well too. So some more designs should be coming out. But yep, that's the thing. The link is in the description. You said you like that one. Aboriginal woman says you like them. Yeah, those are do you do the hoodies? Actually, yeah, I do. Let me actually show you what we have. I just showed you the designs. I mean, that was rude of me. Let me show you what we have. Let me see. I'm just gonna pick this one for instance. So there's the shirts, there's tote bags, and then there's hoodies. You got women's hoodies, you got men's hoodies. You got cups, like mugs. This is one color, one solid color, and then this is like two colors. You know what I'm saying? And then just like kind of the regular shirts. Then you got like water bottles, travel mugs, iPhone cases. Now the iPhone cases aren't available in all designs. Like some like the iPhone 6, the rubberback iPhone 6 is available, but the iPhone 7, iPhone 8, that's not available. You have tote bags, book bags too. I got my sister a book bag also. New too, haven't told people. We also have joggers, unisex joggers too. So, it's jogging pants season coming up. Camper's mug, y'all going out camping with the family. Mask, I don't even know why. I might wind up taking that off there. It's just taking up room at this point. Ain't nobody even really doing that. But we got masks, stainless steel bottles and whatnot. Let me see. These keep your drink very, very warm. So we got more bottles, cups, and stuff. We also have cute little teddy bears. These little Afro Elite teddy bears. We got one with the actual teddy bear and then one with a dog. They come in, 3 different colors too. So that's a nice little gift to give somebody. You got a little baby going on. So yeah, we got more merchandise and actual items coming out too. So these are some of the things. So right now it's a 4-day sale on on Sunday is when the sale is up for the free shipping. But we got more sales coming up in the year too. We're gonna have like 15% off, 20% off sales. Hell no. It says, are those the official Bucci Bear? Yo, real quick. I saw that Bucci Bear cartoon today. That had me rolling. Tariq is a funny dude. Tariq has mastered the art of petty. He has mastered the art of petty. This is that man. He takes petty to a whole nother level. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. But hey, you got your Bucci Bear, sure. Can you do a workshop on marketing? Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. I wanted to do more workshops, so I got more people coming on for the workshops. We've done one with our brother Salim, with our brother Sage. So we definitely have more people lined up. I got more things lined up. I got stuff coming up soon for our brother Ozone as well too. So I got some serious projects coming up on the channel as well too. And thank you guys. Thank you to the mod, to Tia, for your support. My brother got kids, so I'll definitely be getting the book bag and mask and hoodie. Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely do. And let me see the book bag. I want to look and see. I think the book bag has different colors with it too. I know because I got my sister a red one. Where's the book bag? Okay. Yeah, I got my sister a red one. She gets the one with the Afro girls on it. So that's the one she has, but it comes in gray, red, and blue. They're really good book bags too. They got like a section, like a department for your computer. They're actually really good book bags too. So I'm sure they'll appreciate it. But yeah, family. Yeah, that seems like that'll be about it. Yeah. Oh, the Sage one was really good. Thank you for that. Shout out to our brother Sage. But that'll wrap it up for this evening. We've been going on for a little bit. Expose the Purge situation going on, knowing that that's not an actual thing, that's not a real thing. Nobody needs to be worried about the purge. We need to be more concerned about these illegal aliens coming over here, these illegal migrants, they call, coming over here. We need to be worried about this gang, the Chicago Police Department, just doing whatever, kicking people in the back of the head, handcuffed after tasing them, running people over with a squad car. These are the crises that we need to be worried about. So I appreciate every single last one of you guys for being here. Thank you all for the super chats. We had a lot of super chats tonight. Greatly appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share, family. Please make sure you guys do that. And that's going to be it for tonight. Like I said, I always greatly appreciate the family for coming through. Warms my heart up to see that. Follow me on social media at the Afro Elite on Twitter and Afro Elite on Instagram. So you guys will be up to date with any sales or any announcements or any things like that, or my Twitter spaces, which my Twitter space should be recorded and put up on this channel tomorrow too. So if you guys missed it tonight, either you can go back on Twitter and watch it, or you can see it on YouTube tomorrow. But until then, until next week, you all have a safe weekend. You guys, please be safe out there. Enjoy yourself, but be safe. Be careful. Hope to see you guys next week. Be one to the family. Good night.